Hey, welcome to Integrated Science. This is Miss Sparks, and I wanted to walk you through on how to set up a graph using Kami. So one or two things is Kami is great for just an overlay of an activity, and lots of times in this class we will be graphing, and so I wanted to just kind of walk you through what that looks like just a little bit. So this is the activity that we're working on today, which is just taking data or quantitative data and plugging it into a graph so we can visualize and represent what we're actually talking about. So we're taking quantitative data so that we can use it qualitative and kind of talk about it. So in this exercise, you can see they're talking about the relationship between fungal alpha and the roots of a true plant. And it's a mutualistic relationship. So that means that they are both benefiting from each other. The fungal hypha has a benefit to the roots of the plants, and the roots of the plants provide a benefit to the fungal hypha. So, and that's what this is just kind of talking about right here. So the experiment, if we kind of just take a look at our data and the picture that they gave us here, we have some qualitative information that's written out here, which says the experiment was conducted to determine the effects of mitochondrial association on plant growth. Two groups of plants were grown. One group was planted in soil that had been sterilized. And sterilized is a technical term for meaning that it was clean. So clean soil, meaning that things were taken out of it, bacteria and all the other enzymes that kind of go with it. The other group was planted in the same type of soil, but the soil had not been sterilized. So, excuse me, they probably took a infrared light and tried to kill off all the bacteria. So one plant in sterilized, one non-sterilized. Clean soil, dirty soil. And so all the factors remain the same between the two groups. The plants were allowed to grow for 8 weeks. Both of them had 8 weeks. Each week, the height in centimeters of the plant was measured. And the picture below shows the plant after 8 weeks. So group plant with sterilized soil, clean soil, group plant with non-sterilized soil. So we're going to hypothesize here in a little bit what's happened. So, and then here's our data. So week after week, they measured the height, kind of like what we just did with our quantitative and qualitative lab, and they measured that out for us. So we're being asked today to create a graph, and you're probably like, well, gee, Ms. Sparks, you normally would give me a graph paper and a ruler to do this. We can do this also in Kami just a little bit. It's not gonna maybe look as nice and neat. One or two features you can use is a text box. If you want to make small little text boxes for each one, that is fine. So I'm going to start with 0 over here. And I'm actually just going to write this out just so that you can kind of see 0. And then I went ahead and already labeled my axes. So we've got our y-axis and our x. Our x is always going to be our independent, meaning measurements that we can't change. Weeks are set in place. So if we look at our two pieces of information, we have weeks and plant growth. The weeks are independent of the plant growth. The growth is going to be dependent on how much time has passed. So if you think about it, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a plant, that makes a big difference. The more time that we give it to grow, the larger it's going to grow. So our independent is going to fall on our x-axis. That's why I have weeks down here. And our plant growth is going to fall on the y. And so now I'm going to go back and just fill in some of the information. So as you can see, we have weeks here, and there are 8 weeks. So I want my x-axis to go all the way out to 8. And I'm going to go by 2s here. That works really well. And I'm going to skip 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. So that's my 2 week. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 8. And that allows me to use most of the graph. You can use that in text box too if that's going to drive you crazy. I know it looks kind of sloppy, but same idea is that now we're going to look at it on our plant growth. So we have actually 2 different data points here that have been provided. We can see that this one all the way goes up to 6 centimeters. but this one goes all the way up to 25. So we need to make sure that our y-axis also goes up to 25. So once again, all you're gonna do is we're gonna kind of figure out here, and I've gauged it already. I'm gonna go by 2's again and just skipping every second block. So 4, 8, 12, 16, all the way up to 28. So I'm going to kind of stop there. You kind of get the idea. So you're going to keep on doing that. So now what we need to do is I'm just going to represent a couple of the data points here so that you can kind of see what it looks like and kind of maybe refresh your memory just a little bit. So I'm going to start with week 1. I'm going to change my color here and make a little key. You might want to do the same. This is going to represent my sterilized soil. Move this just a little bit. Oops, nope. We're good. I did not spell soil wrong, did I? Did not. There we go. And then I'm going to pick another one. It's going to, now I did it. There we go. Click out of there. And now pick a new color. And it's going to be one of those days, huh? But there we go. And that's going to represent my non-sterile. A little bit bigger. There we go. So now I have a key. That's going to be very helpful too. I spelled sterilized wrong. You haven't figured it out now. Miss Sparks struggles on the spelling bus. All right, so let's start with sterile. So let's make sure that once again we are back to our blue so that we're going to put the right dots in. There's also shapes here if you want to do shapes. If that floats your boat, you could do a little circle here. So at 1 week, we can see that our sterilized grew only 0.8 centimeters. So if this is 2, we're going to say that this is 1.5, 1, and then all the way down to 0. So we're like at 0.8 right here. So we're not all the way at our 1. So that's going to be our first kind of dot. Oh, I wish it was filled in. I don't like that. I'm going to erase it. Maybe. Let me erase. There we go. We're just going to draw them. So there's my 0.8. All right. So then, actually, even if you wanted to, you can go up here and cross these out just to make sure we have 1.5. So 2, remember this is going to be our 1. Our 1 was right there. So 1.5 is right here. So at 1 week, oh, I did that wrong. 4, 2, yeah. Our 1 week is like right in there too. There we go. I did that wrong. I knew I did. Sorry. See, teachers mess up too. A lot. Okay, so our 1 week. And then you cross that out and then go up to 2. At 3 weeks, that was 2 centimeters. So at 3. And as you can see, you're gonna get a continuous line. You're gonna wanna, I don't know where it goes off to, so I'm just gonna draw my arrow there. Then you're gonna go back and do the same one for this. So by the end, you should have, if you have 8 dots here and 8 dots, you should have 16 data points that are gonna help you answer these questions down here at the bottom that you can just fill in with a text box. So just kind of wanted to show you how I envisioned using graphs with Kami. If this doesn't work for you and you want to print this out, we could probably work with that and getting it uploaded as well. So that's just one kind of way on how to use it. So just to kind of give you a heads up on what that looks like. Hopefully this was helpful, and if not, log into a Google Meet and we'll help straighten you out. Thanks.